One of the concepts that this topic focuses on is actually consumerism. Okay, so if you think about it, our country's growth is based on what we buy. If we buy more things, then we have to produce more goods and services. And this creates the effect of having more people employed. And so it becomes this cycle of more people employed, then more money to spend, so they buy more, and when you buy more, you produce more goods and services, and then more people get employed. So it's really a cycle that encourages the country to grow. So for companies who want to get people to buy their product, obviously they must advertise. Because there are so many products and services, right? So therefore, the more they advertise, then the more money they spend. And when they spend this money, of course, there are effects. Okay, so the question is asking, do you agree that advertising has made us wasteful? The most common structure is you say yes, and then you come up with three reasons, or you say no, and then you come up with three reasons, right? But I find it always rather difficult to come up with three reasons when there is a time limit of an hour. So what I do, as you all would know by now, is I use the 1+2 approach, right? Okay, so what is this one and what is this two then? This one will mean that I acknowledge that advertising has its users. Okay, so this two will then allow me to elaborate on whether it's wasteful or not. And in this case, I will say that, well, although it has its users, but it has made us wasteful. Okay, so let's continue to see how I go about developing the 1+2. In the introduction, we will have the three components, namely the hook, the link to thesis, as well as the thesis. So in my hook, I choose to start with a trend because advertising is definitely a contemporary issue that is of concern to all of us because it's very prevalent, right, in our society. So definitely there's going to be a lot of things to talk about when we use trends. So from my research, I find that advertising is a 766 billion global industry, which is predicted to hit 1 trillion by 2025. So due to advertising and the marketing efforts of the various companies, this has played a significant role of people buying many items, some of which they seldom use and subsequently dispose. Definitely, once they do that, it has led to the proliferation of waste products that end up in landfills and oceans, adversely impacting our environment. So we see the great garbage patch, in the ocean. And if you look at the pictures over there, there are many, many waste products, like plastics, harming the marine life. So this leads to my thesis that by and large, advertising has made us wasteful. Since in my thesis I said that I agree that advertising is wasteful to a large extent, I'm going to start off first by acknowledging that advertising does have its users. Okay, then later on, I'm going to suggest that it is wasteful in my subsequent paragraphs. So in this paragraph, my main objective is to state, the useful parts of advertising. So I say that a primary role of advertising is to inform consumers about a particular product, service, or program. This is helpful as consumers are educated on a new product or service. discounts, promotions or offers, charitable work, and the benefits. Okay, of course, I will go on to develop all these points, in an essay. But since this is just a guide, I'm not going to do that. And I'm going to use an example to show what I mean. So for example, I have been searching for an interior designer on Google because I just bought a new place and I want to renovate it, so that it looks beautiful and aesthetic to me, right? So that I find it very nice to live in. So subsequently, I see a number of Facebook ads of the beautiful renovation works carried out by various design companies and the different ideas on how to utilize the space. Apparently, all these social media platforms have some algorithm that will be linked to the Google search, you know, that enables us to see the feeds, right? See the posts or see the advertisements of the products that we are interested in. Okay, so in this regard, advertising is useful as increased awareness of different products allow me to choose one that meets my needs best. These are two examples of the advertisements that appear on my social media feeds. This one is obviously the Balinese style, and you can see it's a lot of wood elements, whereas this one is some luxurious interior design style. And these are just two examples of the very beautiful interior designs that pop up, thus demonstrating the usefulness of advertisements, because now I have more ideas about what I can do to my apartment. Having acknowledged the usefulness of advertising, I am now going to explain my thesis, right, which is why advertisements or advertising is wasteful. So my point will be that, however, companies often have a significant portion of their funds allocated to advertising to entice or persuade people to buy their products. And they obviously use emotional appeal, which is going to appeal to our emotions, right? And when a customer makes a buying decision at the spur of the moment, triggered by certain feelings, it leads to impulsive buying. So there are many, many examples of these that can be found. For example, they use images of love and sex. They always associate beautiful women with cars, for example, or maybe influencers, they promote certain fashion. They also use discounts. For example, you buy four at a special price of two, or they have limited time offers. So they might say, oh, you need to buy this within 2 or 3 days. Otherwise, it will revert back to the original price. Okay, so these tactics entice us to make additional purchases over and beyond what we need. So in this way, we unthinkingly squander our money, making unnecessary purchases. The second reason is that the impulse to buy is exacerbated by the deluge of advertisements that appear on our social media platforms. This is because we are always, bombarded by advertisements for products that we have an interest in, making it easier for us to succumb to the temptation. So, for example, if let's say we are interested in purchasing um, some clothes, right? So we get many, many advertisements of the clothes that we want. But maybe we are not satisfied with just one of the set of the clothes, but because we see so many that we like, right? So we succumb to the temptation. And of course, influencers also play a significant role in impulse buying due to their power to affect the purchase decisions of their followers who wish to emulate their lifestyles, to become more attractive, become cooler, become more fashionable, more likable, more handsome, prettier, right? So, for example, Kim
Kardashian, who has amassed more than 100 million followers, was actually presented with an influencer award by the Council of Fashion Designers of America for her impact on fashion. And these people promote clothes, shoes, bags, whatever you have, they will promote. Then the beauty bloggers will recommend makeup or skin products, and the models, um, as well as maybe the cooks, right, or the chefs will promote their own ingredients, their own dishes. So often people purchase these merchandise not because they need them, but because they have the perception that they will be as popular, sexy, or well liked as the influencer if they use the endorsed products. Hence, this form of advertising encourages excessive shopping. So to conclude, I have a way to link it back to the thesis, right? And I say that undoubtedly companies engage in advertising to boost their sales. They persuade us that we need their product, even though the reality is it would not make any significant difference in our lives. But what's worse, right, is when we purchase things that we don't need, it causes environmental destruction. Trees need to be cut down to make these products. The metals must be mined. Um, then maybe the chemicals need to be used. And this is definitely wasteful indeed.